Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simply Podcasting. I'm your host for today, Jacob Hernandez. I'm doing my second solo episode, so I hope you all enjoy it. Just some quick news. A couple days ago, I recorded a separate solo episode, but my audio was lost. It didn't record completely, so I didn't get to publish that. And I decided not to try to re-record that because I don't want to have to worry about trying to make it sound natural or being displeased with it not coming out as good as the first one. And so I just decided, you know what, let me scrap that. If anyone's curious, it was going to be me just listing off some cases that Justice Kennedy decided on, where he was more or less a swing vote, and giving my opinions on the cases and just talking about Justice Kennedy and his history. If anyone's curious, the cases I spoke about are highlighted in an NPR article, and so I'll be linking that in the show notes, so y'all can go ahead and take a look. I really just say that although he was a swing vote, a very important swing vote, he wasn't always as reliable as the more liberal side of America expected him to be or wanted him to be, and how he wasn't always the only one. I mean, Justice Roberts swung over to the liberal side to agree with the liberals in the Affordable Care Act decision, where the individual mandate was deemed to be a tax instead of a penalty for not purchasing. And so that was something that angered conservatives, and Kennedy voted with conservatives. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about what I spoke about at the end of that episode. And really what it was is what I believe to be the biggest problem facing America today. And now I know everyone's going to have Trump up there. Trump's the biggest problem facing America. Racism's the biggest problem. Immigrants, debt, outrageous spending, taxes. I don't know what it is. I don't know what anyone's going to believe it is. But what I believe it is something more personal. The biggest problem facing America for me, what I believe to be the biggest problem, is that people on either side of the political aisle attributing malice to another person's opinions. And what I mean by that is, when people disagree, we no longer try to understand why we disagree. Instead, we just say, oh, that person's evil. Oh, that person's just out to get me. That person doesn't understand. That person's stupid. That person, they just will never get it. No, that's not always the case. I mean, in fact, that's rarely the case. We do not live in a time of people that are just filled with hatred. I mean, yes, there's going to be people like that. But if you walk to your neighbor's house and you say, hey, what do you think of this? And they disagree with you, I mean, 99 times out of 100, it's going to be because they grew up different, or they have a different worldview, or something. It's not just going to be because they're evil. I mean, as a conservative myself, I believe that one of my conservative ideologies is limiting the welfare system, reforming the welfare system. Now, why? Because I believe it's being abused. I believe it's not working to its highest capacity. It's not as efficient as it can be. I don't want to get rid of it completely. I believe it's important, and we should, as a first world country, have a social safety net that takes care of the people that are just down on their luck. But if I talk to someone who firmly believes that we should have UBI and government programs galore, then they're probably going to think, hey, that guy's evil. That guy's a classist. Right? He only cares about himself. White supremacist. They're going to throw that in because only minorities are down on their luck. But that's not the case. That's not who I am. That's not what I believe. And so, that's the biggest problem facing America. I mean, just watch the news. Just turn on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, something. Bloomberg, BuzzFeed, I don't know. Whatever you watch, whatever you read, whatever website you go to. What are you going to see? You're going to see the left saying Trump is a racist, misogynist, white supremacist, nationalist, xenophobe, Islamophobe. Is he? I don't know. I don't think so. I personally don't think so. And when he says, you know what, Title IX is not working the right way. Title IX it's not doing what it's supposed to. It's limiting personal freedoms. It's circumventing due process. When he did that, what happened? He was accused of being a misogynist. Everyone that disagreed with Title IX, which basically set up these, I think they called them kangaroo courts, that universities would believe women that accused men of rape more often than not, even without evidence. That's what that was. And when Trump said, "Oh, well, that's not a good idea," what did they say? "Oh, well, you hate women. You think that men that rape women should be free to go." No, that's not right. That's not it. When he said, "We need a lower tax rates," what did everyone say? Oh, he only cares about the 1%. He wants all the lower class people to die. He hates them. No, not even close. I mean, I'm sure as a businessman, he understands the vitality of the lower class to the economy. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's always going to be a lower class. And they are important to this nation. They are important to the economy. And I'm sure he understood that. I'm sure he doesn't want to get rid of all the workers and only have accountants, or not accountants. What am I thinking of? Stockbrokers. There you go. I doubt he's saying, oh, well, if we only have stockbrokers, the 1%, the business owners, the CEOs, and kill everyone else, then that'll be great. No, obviously not. And how I hope no one thinks that. But these accusations paint him in that light. And it goes the other way too. I know plenty of conservatives, and I've read plenty of conservative comments on social media that say, oh, well, when people want to take away our guns, this is the main one. When people want to take away our guns, they just want us to be at the whim of the government. No. When people want to take away guns, that's because they believe that's what makes us, that'll make the country safer. Do I agree with them? No. Do I call them evil? No, not at all. Because they're not evil. Because apart from the select few, apart from the David Dukes of the world, we're not evil people. No one's evil. People are misguided. People have different information, different worldviews, different values. When the left tells conservatives that they're misogynists and want to control women because they think that a fetus is a life that deserves to be born, what does that say about our state of politics, our state of discourse? I mean that's what the pro-life movement is. Whoever's pro-life, they don't say women shouldn't have the right to choose for their bodies. What they believe is that a fetus is a life that deserves to be born, that deserves to live. That's what it is. And it goes the other way too. When the pro-choice say, oh, well, women should have the right to choose whether or not to have an abortion, it's the fetus isn't as thought of as a life. And if it is, then the woman's right to choose they believe is more important. I don't know how you could think that. So I'll go ahead and say that they don't believe that what's inside a woman's womb is a life, or at least not one that has any rights yet. Are they evil? Yes. I'm just kidding. No, obviously not. But that's where we're at. That's the biggest problem facing America, facing the United States. With Justice Kennedy announcing his retirement, about a week ago? Today's July 6th, so about a week ago. I think he did it last Tuesday or Wednesday, just over a week. Everyone was freaking out. Everyone said, this is the worst thing that's going to come to America. Why? Because Trump's going to appoint someone that just throws caution to the wind and is 100% conservative, whether or not it benefits the United States. Do they hear themselves? I mean, really. Now, I admit, Trump is not the best president. But to say that he's going to appoint someone because they're a racist, because they're a misogynist, they're a sexist, because they're a nationalist. I mean, maybe they might, but not because of that. Not because he hates women. He's not going to think, well, I don't think African Americans should be able to work. I don't think Mexican Americans that are born in the United States or that got their citizenship should be deported. This division, this split, this unwillingness to view the other side of the political aisle as human beings with thoughts and thought processes and life experiences that differ from our own, that's the biggest problem. I've got into arguments on social media where people will tell me, Hernandez, that's your last name? Huh. You're going to get deported in a week. Trump's coming after you. I'm a third generation citizen. My grandparents were citizens. My parents are citizens. And I'm a citizen. But yet these people are saying, Trump's evil. He hates you. He doesn't want your kind. I mean, do people read what they type out? Do people hear what they say? I mean, in recent news, I think it's Maxine Waters. Yeah, Maxine Waters. When she said, basically to harass the Trump administration. Look, that's indefensible. No one should be defending that because that's not right. That's not something someone of her stature should be doing. Am I going to say she's evil? No. I don't think she's evil. I personally don't. Misguided? Yes, definitely. Evil? No. There's people saying that she's evil. She's not. She has this worldview that's being attacked, that's collapsing in front of her. And so she feels like this is an appropriate response. It's not, but that's what she thinks. Am I going to give credence to her views? No, because she's wrong. She's wrong. She's not evil. That's the problem. That when people believe that others are evil when they're not, that prevents having any discourse. And if you don't believe me, just Google some good debates between conservatives and liberals or people that disagree with each other. You can tell which people that are debating view the other person as an actual person or as someone that's evil. You can tell because the one that views the other person as someone that's evil is shouting them out, is not giving any thought to what they're saying. They'll be having two completely different conversations because what they hear isn't someone that has their reasoning. What they hear is someone that's evil. What they hear is someone that just hates. That's what they hear. That's what they see. That's what's in front of them or to the side of them. Now, you can say, well, I don't. I'm glad you don't. And if you do, I mean, as a Christian, all I can do is pray that you change. And as an American, all I can do is hope that you change. Because, let me tell you, 98%, 98, not even 98, 99.9% of all Americans are not evil. We have reasons. What we believe is right, we believe is right because of what we know and what we think, not because we hate. White supremacists are evil. But you can't label anyone. You can't label anyone that says, well, we need to secure our borders as a white supremacist. The reason the left does that, the reason extreme liberals do that, is because they don't want to see the other person as having a line of reasoning. They want to just see them as evil, and white supremacists are evil. But I believe that we should have secure borders. But does that make me evil? Does that make me a white supremacist? I don't think so. I don't think so. So if I talk to someone and I talk about having secure borders, if they see me as someone that has a line of reasoning, someone that thinks about what they believe in and reaches that conclusion through something other than hatred, through something other than evil, being evil, then a discussion, a civil discussion can be reached. But if someone says, well, you just hate your own people. As a Mexican American, they're going to tell me, you hate your own people. You're a traitor. You're a race traitor. You're going to get deported because you know Trump's evil. And that's how this country falls apart. That's how this country doesn't progress. Because progress isn't getting rid of hate speech. Progress is understanding why someone's disagreement with you is not hate speech. Progress isn't silencing a group of people. Progress is understanding the group of people's reasoning and helping them change it. Helping them understand why they're wrong. Not just telling them you're wrong because you're evil. Because that's when you put the other people on a defensive. And right now that's all we're doing. We are two sides of a political aisle defending against each other. And the middle's just watching it. And they can't agree with one because then they're going to be expected to completely despise the other. And then they can't go to the other because then they're going to be expected to completely despise the one. So what do you have? You have two extremists, two extreme sides that think the other side is evil, and the middle, which is just tired, which just doesn't want to participate, which just thinks that they are too civil to do politics, to be involved politically. It creates a middle that's apathetic. It creates a middle that has no home on either side. And there's a lot of what I would consider to be very conservative and very liberal people. I mean, there's a lot of those people that have views that aren't 100% in line with the very conservative and the very liberal. But they're not allowed to swap. They're not allowed to look over to the other side. They're not allowed to speak their minds because then they're viewed as evil. So not only do you have people viewing others as evil, you have people self-censoring. You have people that say, I shouldn't say this because then I'm going to be hated on. You have people saying, I need to agree with this certain viewpoint. So sorry if I come off as a little angry. It's just this is a problem. This is a major problem. People will say, no, it's only the fringes. No, it's not. And it's not because it's very easy to let yourself fall into those extremes from time to time. I like to consider myself a moderate, someone that's reasonable. But I found myself saying, oh, well, they're like this because they hate. They're like this because they're evil. They're stupid. The worst one is they're stupid because you can't reason with a stupid person. Evil, hate, and stupid, those are the three main attributes given to someone that disagrees. And I found myself doing that. And that's why that's the biggest problem. Because when it becomes something that is just expected, something that's just so normal on either side, it's easy to fall into that trap. And having just celebrated 4th of July, the celebration of the founding, the winning of independence of the greatest nation on earth, the greatest nation in history. Seeing this is heartbreaking. Something I find interesting on social media very often is when something comes up of the LGBT community. And it's something radical. It's something that just is completely outrageous that no one besides the fringe of the fringe believe. And then there's a comment. Man, I'm gay and I just can't stand the LGBT community because they're too extreme. They make it out to be more than it needs to be. That's awful. Because the LGBT community should be inviting, but rather it's scaring off. Same thing with conservatism. When everywhere on social media you see conservatives saying, if you voted against Trump, you're not a conservative. If you voted against Trump, you don't belong in the party. You're not a Republican. Why? There are conservatives saying, well, I'm a conservative, but I disagree with Trump. Or I'm a conservative and I don't personally like Trump. I hate Trump as a person. Well, I don't hate him, but I dislike him as a person. He's awful. He cheats on his wives. Wives, plural. Yeah, he's had what, 3, 4? 3? 2? I don't know. 3? Maybe. He's cheated on all of them, I'm pretty sure. And if he hasn't, I'm sure he has. He's admitted to being attracted to his daughter. That's gross. He outright said he doesn't need to pray for forgiveness of his sins. As a Christian, I'm like, bro, come on. But I'm not going to say he's evil. In fact, I support him. I think he's done a decent job as president. Nowhere near the greatest. Mainly because I would need to research by presidents. Make sure I know who's the greatest, but nowhere near the greatest. The worst part is when liberals will say they want Trump to fail. Why? Because conservatives wanted Obama to fail. Not all of us. I supported Obama. I supported him in that I didn't want him to fail. He wants to provide health care for all? Okay. Go for it. He wants to do it in a way that doesn't bankrupt our economy? Go for it. He wants to reach peace in Iran? Do it. That's awesome. Those are things I want. I want everyone to be able to afford health insurance. I want Iran to not want to destroy Israel and nuke America. I'm 85% sure no conservative said, I hope negotiations with Iran fall through and we can have a third world war. I'm 85% sure conservatives weren't like that. 15% sure because 15% unsure because, I mean, of course, the fringe, but the mainstream, the commoners, the ones that wouldn't attribute evil and malice to Obama's decisions, instead is being misguided and not quite grasping the situation. And I mean, this 4th of July, I hope everyone enjoyed it. And I hope that this new year, this new time, can be a time where we don't attribute evil. We don't attribute malice to other person's thoughts, to other person's opinions. Because more often than not, it's not. more often than not, it's a line of reasoning that if you care to try to change, you can. There will be those that you can't, but there are definitely more than enough that you can if you have the tools. Well, if you made it this far, thank you all for listening. That's just my little rant on what I think is wrong with America, what I think the biggest problem facing America right now is. If you think something else is important, let me know. I mean, I would love to be wrong. I would love for our biggest problem to not be something internal. Something not even governmental, but something just public. Something from our citizens. I would love for our biggest problem to be Trump. I would love for our biggest problem to be North Korea. For our biggest problem to be tariffs. I would love it. Because that's something that can easily be fixed. If our biggest problem is Trump, well, either Mueller indicts and we get through an impeachment, or he gets voted out, if that's the biggest problem. If our biggest problem is North Korea, well, we can hopefully negotiate. If our biggest problem is tariffs, well, hopefully when Trump leaves, someone can get rid of him. But this personal, internal thing, it can't be fixed by one person. It has to be a collective good. Thank y'all. Let me know what y'all think. And I'll catch y'all later.